And just like that, I'm back. If you guys really thought that I would go without unpacking the secret lives of Mormon wives. So I finished the entire season, and as you can tell, I'm sick, and I don't have the capacity or the energy to talk about every little detail of this season in one video. So I'm going to just talk about the parts that stood out to me first, and we're going to talk about the rest in a separate video. Or honestly, multiple videos, let's be real, because there's just way too much. There's way too much in this season. So this video today is going to be focused on Jordan and Jesse. Yes, the affair, the emotional abuse, the whole nine. So I'm going to call a spade a spade. The affair was inexcusable. There's never a good time or a right time to cheat. With that being said, cheating is not black and white. If you guys have seen my previous videos, you know that I'm not only a trauma counselor, but I also work with couples. I do both premarital and marital counseling. And I always have to separate my personal beliefs on cheating from my work. So for me, you cheat on me once, we're done. But I also understand that it's a nuanced concept, that it's not always so black and white, and there's a lot of reasons why people cheat. Again, not to justify the behavior. I think it's inexcusable. But let's dig a little bit deeper into her relationship with Jordan, her feeling like she's not enough, and where so many of that could be stemming from, and how it ultimately led to her seeking attention outside of the marriage. So boom, we know this about Jesse, right? She stems from what I call a worthiness wound. It's this feeling, this chronic feeling of not feeling like you're enough, no matter what. At one point, the therapist asked her, is there anything you like about your physical being, yourself, like how you look? And she said no. So it's not even just the fact that she's insecure about her looks. It goes far beyond that. She does not think that she's worthy of a good love, and she does not think that she is lovable. She does not think that she's good enough. The list goes on. And I can bet every penny in my bank account that there was a parent in her life that made her feel that way. Because there's this concept, as I've talked about in previous videos, called the familiarity principle. You gravitate towards what is familiar to you. Even if what is familiar is unhealthy for you, because your nervous system feels safe, it's something that it's used to. So if she grew up with this idea that she's not enough because a caregiver made her feel like she wasn't enough, she sure as hell is going to find that same dynamic in all of her romantic relationships. She's going to subconsciously chase men that make her feel the exact same way a caregiver made her feel. Anyways, that is how I think she found herself in a relationship with Jordan. And I don't think this is the first Jordan she's ever had. I think many of the men in her life have made her feel this deeply insecure and have spoken to her in this way. Because again, this dynamic is familiar to her. So what Jordan has been doing is absolutely emotional abuse. As a result of his own deep-rooted insecurity, he wants to put her down. He's deeply insecure because, one, she's the breadwinner of the family. Two, she appears to be getting all of this external attention. And this is his way of humbling her. He also has his own past traumas that explain why when he feels unsafe or when he feels the need to control, he behaves in this way. Again, this is not justification of his behavior or her behavior. It's simply an explanation. There's a difference. And since now Jesse has, again, been in this relationship that's very familiar to her, someone that makes her feel like she's not enough, someone that belittles her or puts her down, she decided that she needed that external validation or that feeling outside of the marriage because she sure as hell wasn't getting it from the marriage itself. And then we got Marciano, the man that gave her everything she thought that she needed, the man that she believed would fill that gap, would fill that hole that Jesse in her mind, or Jordan, my bad, in her mind left. I'm going to say this. When Jordan told her that this was the reason why he treated her the way that he treated her, not because of the affair, this is just a thing that she does that upsets him, right? I wanted to take him and throw him out the window. All the ethical parts of me being a therapist was out the window, and I wanted him to be out the window with all of my morality. Abusers tend to blame the victims for the abuse, if that makes sense. They will say things like, this is exactly why I treat you the way that I treat you. This is your fault. If you were less this, then I would not have to do this to you as much. very narcissistic, very manipulative, and clearly just a way to make the victim feel like everything is their fault and that they need to appease the abuser in order for the abuse to stop. And 9 times out of 10, they won't even be able to label it as abuse because they just think that it's a reaction out of their own behavior, their behavior that they deem as bad, when in reality, they're the victim. And you could see in that dynamic when they were having that conversation how terrified Jessie was. She immediately looked like a scared puppy, was, quick to apologize to him, to appease to him. You could see the power dynamic in their relationship and how much he desires power in that dynamic. So let's just say, I hope Jordan and Jessie are done. And honestly, if it meant this affair had to be what led to their divorce, thank God for it.